by the preacher.
Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Holy my God, our God, our Father in heaven, we thank you for sparing our lives to come together as your children to worship you and to sing praise unto your name because of your mercies endureth forever. And here we've gathered, O Lord, to hear from you so that we can move in righteousness before you and so that we can inherit the kingdom of God. Father, speak to us. Amen. And give us the spirit to understand you. Amen. So that in life, people will see us and see you in us. Amen. And glorify our Father in heaven. Amen. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Glory be to God in the highest. It is true indeed that faith in our Lord Jesus Christ will not put you to shame. May the Lord empower us for us to trust and hope in Him. This morning, our meeting together is based on that we are rejoicing in God. When He saw us in our ship, we were troubled in our hearts because when we went fishing, we did not catch anything. He saw that our hearts was looking for someone to save us. And He called us in. He said, do you know me? And we replied, we do not know you. He said, today I'm going to show myself unto you. And we said unto him, you have to do a very wondrous act before we know that you are the one that has been sent. Indeed, He said unto us that all our tears will turn into joy today. Because you have seen that we are the poor in spirit, seeking for God. Because it's only those that seek God that will find Him. And God said, if you seek me, I will never put you to shame. You'll find out that Peter was not put to shame in his own time. He said, because of your words, I will do that which you have said. Indeed, he was not put to shame. For every soul that believes in our Lord Jesus Christ will never be put to shame. Before all things, I will thank the Lord God Almighty for this parish. I'll thank our Father the Shepherd. And I'll thank the Grand Patron. And I'll thank all his lieutenants working with him. Because the promise and covenant of God will stand forever. He said he shall be taken from Bethel Ephratah. And it will be the one that will enlighten whether the world likes it. This church will cleanse the world. But the words of God are based on truth. And it brought it to us today that Christ is the Savior. Christ is the Savior. Who is Christ? Christ is God himself. You can find out that his no words he said, let there be light, and there was light. So that light came forth and darkness was no more. John told us that in the beginning it was the Word, and the Word was with God, and this Word that has been with God as the truth. One that has never for 1 second looked at God in the eye. Who was seeking God with all humility and looking for his God at all times. This Christ is holy. That's why the book of John tells us that those that worship God must worship God in truth and in spirit. This Christ is the great glory that went into our Lord Jesus during his own time. But this morning we are talking of that great glory that went into Joseph. When it came into our Lord Jesus Christ, that great glory, the voice came out that this is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased, listen to him.
Isaiah 62 wípé ìpinnu mi ni láti gba ayé là, mo ti fẹ́ gba ayé là, n ó tàn ìmọ́lẹ̀ náà nítorí kí ni wàhálà ti pọ̀ jù, mo ti padà wá láti gba ayé là.
Right from the beginning, as we shall see in the book of Isaiah chapter 62, it has been the desire of our Lord Jesus Christ to come and save the world.
Ẹ̀rí láti gbọ́ náà ló ti wọ́ àìníta ọ̀nà fún òkú náà.
Since that time, they have been seeking whom to send for this great glory.
ṣùgbọ́n fún ẹ̀sìn òní a sọ fún ni pé ọmọ kan jẹ́ Joseph àbí ní ìgbà ogbó rẹ̀ ẹ bá ṣe gbàgbé o ní ìgbà ogbó Joseph fẹ́ láwọn ta bí ni o nítorí ó tún lábúrò o nítorí náà ní ìgbà ogbó ta sọ yìí a bí ní ìgbà tí bàbá rẹ̀ ń wí pé Olúwa mo jọ̀wọ́ ayé mi fún ọ tàbá sọ pé 8 of 70 ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí kí ni ó ti ń wo ọ̀run ní gbogbo rẹ̀ ó ti rí pé tó tún kù láyé yìí ní ìgbà náà la bí Joseph yìí ṣùgbọ́n ó tẹ́lẹ̀ fọyọ́ nínú rẹ̀ ní pé Joseph yìí nìkan làwọn fi aṣọ aláàbọ̀rà wọ̀ aṣọ ẹ̀mí mímọ́ aṣọ ìmọ́lẹ̀ Kristi tí second lesson sọ fún wa kí ni ìṣe Kristi second lesson 2 Corinthians 6 ẹ jẹ́ ká wo verse 10 yẹn ni.
For the sake of today's sermon,
that is the nature of God. Bí tálákà ṣùgbọ́n a fi fún ní agbára láti sọ ọ̀pọ̀jọ́ ọlọ́rọ̀. Bí ẹni tí kò ní nǹkan. Adé ohun gbogbo.
Ẹ̀yin ará Kọ́ríńtì. Ẹnu wá yà wá sí ọkàn wá sí.
Ẹ ṣé.
for the sake of today's sermon, we are talking about Joseph, that the father had in his old age. Let us remember, though he was one of the children he had in his old age, but Joseph still had a younger one. But he had him at a point in time where he had surrendered all to God. When he was looking to go to the great beyond, that's when he had Joseph. So our Father is telling us today, as we read in the second lesson, that having been blessed as if we had nothing, but we have everything in our Lord Jesus Christ.
Àwọn Jésù wípé àrìnkiri ṣoore. Ó lè má rí jẹ, ṣùgbọ́n afẹ́ fúnni jẹ. Ó ní a ti pẹ́ nìyí, a ti lọ ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, báwo ni a ṣe lọ láì jẹ? Ẹ ò rí. Ó ní ta nínú yín tó ní oúnjẹ díẹ̀? Ẹ̀rù ń bá àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n oúnjẹ díẹ̀ di púpọ̀. Ògo ni fọ́lọ́run lókè ọ̀run.
Having nothing, always giving something out. Our Lord Jesus Christ is being described as someone that goes about doing good and doing well to other people. When we read the feeding of the 5,000, he said unto his disciples, we've been here quite a while, how can we send these out without giving them something to eat? And he requested that if anyone has something they could feed them with. This is the nature of our Lord Jesus Christ, always ready and willing to feed his flock. You might not have something, but always ready and willing to give something out to his flock.
Lónìí, irú rẹ̀ la gbé wọ Joseph tí a pè ní aṣọ aláràbarà, ẹwà ògo ọ̀run, ẹwà òṣùmàrè tí mú ní rántí májẹ̀mú Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú ènìyàn. Nígbà tí Joseph bá ti wọ̀ ọ́, àgọ́ Ọlọ́run bẹ pẹ̀lú àwọn yòókù wọn ò rí ọ̀kankan. Ó dẹ̀ sọ fún ọ pé ẹ má bẹ̀rù, àgọ́ Ọlọ́run bẹ pẹ̀lú mi. Òye kò yé wọn. Wọ́n ń wò bí ènìyàn. Ọmọ tàbí lánàá tó pèrè ní bùrọ̀dá lónìí. Ṣèbó ti náà bùrọ̀dá kan síwájú. Báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe? Àá jẹ́ pé àwa bùrọ̀dá á máa tẹríba fún ọ ká má rí.
Joseph had a special coat of many colors made for him by his father. This, as our father put it, is a special covenant before the Lord. That anytime he puts on this coat of many colors made of the colors of the rainbow, is to remind God of his covenant with him. It's a unique and special gift. And our father is telling us this morning that though his brothers look upon him as, oh, you this little boy, how old are you, when were you born? Are you now telling us that we are going to be calling you brother? You are our junior. This shall not be.
Dípò kan máa bọ́ ẹni tó ń wí ìbọ̀dà wá bá yé wọn, Sátánì jẹ́ kán rí bí ẹni tí kò ṣe súnmọ́, a rí bí onígbéraga ènìyàn. Nítorí náà kó tó ṣèlú àwọn òṣèlú.
Instead of the brothers getting closer, being more brotherly and friendly to their junior one, Joseph, they hated him, they saw him as someone that was proud, and they did not know that this was the one that was going to save them. He was going to be their savior in the future.
Ìṣe Ọlọ́run àti kàsílẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n Corinthians kò sọ fún wa nípa ìṣe ayé, ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run gẹ́gẹ́ mọ̀ ìṣe ayé burú púpọ̀. Mo kò fẹ́ ká mọ ìṣe ayé ni, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí Psalm 50. Káàbọ̀ ká láti 17 torí ní inú Ọlọ́run kò dùn bí Sátánì ṣe ń ṣe ayé. Ó dẹ̀ láti fèsì láti sọ fún pé lónìí ìtìjú dé bá ọ nítorí kí ni ènìyàn lásán ni ọ.
The ways of the world are different from the ways of God, as we shall see in the book of Psalms.
Ìrẹ́ Sátánì ìrẹ́ ènìyàn búburú ọkọ̀ ìrẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ nínú tàbá kọ́ òde kọ́ náà. Ìrẹ́ kọ́ ìrẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ púpọ̀. Yes.
Ìwọ sì ti ṣá ọ̀rọ̀ mi tì lẹ́yìn rẹ̀.
Ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run òdodo rẹ̀ o kò kà sí.
Nígbà tí ìwọ rí olè.
Nígbà tí o rí olè.
Nígbà náà ni ìwọ bá fọ́n pọ̀.
Nígbà náà ló bá pín àádọ́jà bá pín olè lọ́rẹ́ rẹ̀.
Ìwọ sì bá àwọn àgbèrè ṣe àjọpín.
Ìwọ àti àwọn àgbèrè lẹ́jọ́ ṣe àjọpín ilé ẹ̀dá máa lò lẹ́yìn. Wàá lò lẹ́yìn lọ́la. Yes.
Ó fi ẹnu rẹ fún búburú.
Ó fi ẹnu rẹ fún búburú.
Àti ahọ́n rẹ ń pètè ẹ̀tàn.
Ahọ́n rẹ ń pètè ẹ̀tàn wípé ọkùnrin alálàálì ló pọ̀ yìí ẹja pa. Èdè ọ̀tàn ó ti ọkàn wọ́ ó bọ́ sínú ètè náà sọ jáde ibi. Ojókòó.
Ìwọ sọ̀rọ̀ sí arákùnrin rẹ.
Ó sọ̀rọ̀ sí arákùnrin rẹ. Ó mọ orúkọ ọmọ ìyá rẹ jẹ́ láìṣẹ̀ ọ́.
Nǹkan wọ̀nyí ni ìwọ ṣe.
Ó ìyá rẹ̀ ṣe. Thou are the nature of the world. Ìyàtọ̀ tó wà nínú ayé àti ẹ̀mí mímọ́ ni.
That's the difference between the world and the things of God.
Bàbá wọn sì rí pé àwọn ọmọ yìí ti lọ sínú ọkọ̀ sínú ayé. Ó wá wí pé ìrẹ́ Joseph wá lọ bá mi wò wọ́n wá lọ bá mi wo àlàáfíà wọn wá ìmọ̀ Ọlọ́run nìyẹn láti mú wa kó gbogbo ẹrú wá sínú àlàáfíà.
The father had seen that the other siblings, the other siblings had gone into the field of the world, and he sent Joseph after them to look after their welfare. This is the nature of God, looking after the welfare of his creation.
ṣùgbọ́n kí ni ẹ̀kọ́ tòní sọ fún wa? Ó ní nígbà tó ní tó ń bọ̀ wọ́n sọ pé àhá ọkùnrin yẹn ti ń bọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kó tó súnmọ́dọ̀ wọn wọ́n di rìkíṣí síbẹ̀ ni wọ́n wí pé a ó pa.
When they saw him from afar, they plotted against him, and the intention was to kill him.
Àwọn student of theology wá ti mọ̀ pé nígbà tí Jésù dé gan pàápàá ó sọ ìtàn yìí fún wa.
And the students of theology remember that when our Lord Jesus Christ came, he repeated the story.
Ó pa òwe fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ ó ní pé nígbà tí ẹnìkan tó ní ọgbà àjàrà tó gba àwọn ìwà jẹ́ pé ẹ̀kọ́ ń pupa ni ó tún ní kọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀tú wá ẹ̀tú àkẹ́ pa ọmọ ẹ̀ ó ní kí ni a máa ṣe fún irú wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀kọ́ là ń sọ lóòrọ̀ yìí wọ́n tà ń sọ ní pé ayé kún fún ìwà ìkà.
What we are saying this morning is that this world is full of evil deeds.
Tó bá náwó àlàáfíà sí ayé yóò máa bòkè pa wọn ni.
If you stretch forth a hand of peace, what you get in return is evil.
Ìyẹn jẹ́ kí àwọn ènìyàn ṣọ́ra wá padà ti ṣe òfin tọ́lọ́run fún wọn. Ọlọ́run wípé fẹ́ràn ọmọlàkejì gẹ́gẹ́ bí ara rẹ ẹ̀rọ á máa bà á láti náwó àlàáfíà nítorí kí ni kò mọ tí ń bẹ nínú rẹ̀ Olúwa má jẹ́ kí èṣù kó lò ó.
It now makes it very difficult for us to keep the commandment of God to love our neighbor as ourselves. Because when you stretch forth a hand of peace unto them, you do not know what's in the mind of your neighbor.
Ṣùgbọ́n náà ni ó sọ fún rẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ́tà ìjọsìn ẹ̀fọ́tà ni ó ìdíje rẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run nítorí yóò jáde láti fi ọṣẹ ọ̀kan àti gbòǹgbò ńlá ní ìlú àti ní ohunkóhun tá a lè pè ní UK, America and Ireland and ẹnikẹ́ni tó wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ àwọn jẹ́ pé. Nítorí nígbà tó ń fi lélẹ̀ ó ń sọ fún wọn fún ẹni tó máa fẹ́ gbọ́ wípé ẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbẹ̀kásù ó gbòòrò lórí ilẹ̀ yìí ó ọjọ́ ẹ̀ka táwọn yóò máa wá sábẹ́rẹ̀ láti jẹ ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ni yóò sì máa ṣe yóò sì ṣe nígbà tí àbúrò mi ń bẹ̀rù ọdẹ kan ó ní àwọn tó ti wá àwọn tó tún wá ìwọ tó bá wọ́n tó wọ́n gbàgbọ́ àlàáfíà. Ṣùgbọ́n kí nìkan ò lè ṣe ó lè ṣe bí sí nítorí kí ni a ti wọlé aṣọ agbára kan.
Elephant Castle is a branch of the law which the Lord has commanded shall be broadened and shall have many other branches, where people will come under its shade to take refuge. This is a great parish indeed. Our Father is reminding us that there are many things you can do, but one thing you cannot do is to do evil to this parish. Because why? The Lord has clothed you with a cloth of many colors.
Also for another to go down, only in Africa. Mo ti mú ọ dání, mo lè máa mú jáde nínú rẹ̀ 7 shepherds and 8 commanders. Òye náà kò yé mi àti yín. Ṣé rí àwọn commanders yìí? Àwọn ní òpómúléró. Nítorí tí ogun bá fẹ́ dé lọ́kàn, àwọn ní ṣíwájú ogun. Ṣùgbọ́n fún orí ọ̀fẹ́ Ọlọ́run àwọn commanders tó fún wa làwọn olùgbọ́n pẹ̀tọ̀ wa àwọn àgbàtọ́ bọ́ọ̀lù ṣọ́ọ̀bù tó ṣiṣẹ́ àwọn akọrin àwọn oníbodè àwọn wòlíì gbogbo wọn ó kó wọn jọ àpèkítọ́ ní welfare àpèkítọ́ orí ẹni tó bá pè é nítorí Paul kẹ́kẹ́ mọ̀ wípé iṣẹ́ yìí bí a ti ń ṣe a ò gbọ́dọ̀ gbàgbé èyí ṣoore aláti kó àwọn kan jọ láti ṣe kí ni láti máa tọ́jú wọn. Paul ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ fún wa.
For out of you, Ephrata, shall come forth 7 shepherds and 8 commanders. When this saying was said on us last Sunday, many of us did not understand what it meant. But our Father is reminding us today that commanders are those that face the battle, that go forth to battle. And we have such in our midst, we have such in our parish. Our Father, the Grand Patron of this parish, can be likened to a commander. The choir, the prophets and prophetesses, and even the welfare committee. These are commanders that face the battle in the house of God. Because as Paul the Apostle told us, that in this course of ministry, while we are ministering the word of God, let us not forget our charity work. That is whereby we have the people of the welfare doing that of the welfare and looking after the welfare of the people. It is their duty to assist the shepherd. If you are going to assist the shepherd, you must indeed like the shepherd. Because if you do not, then you are kicking against the thorns.
Kótó kan ìgbà tiwa nígbà tí Pétérù jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùṣọ́ àgùntàn àjọ pẹ̀lú pọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ó dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn ẹ má ṣèké ẹ má purọ́ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tó purọ́ kí ló bá bọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Àyà Pétérù wọ́n á ṣépè fún wa ní èmi kẹ̀ irọ́ ṣùgbọ́n a ti wọlé aṣọ àṣẹ nítorí kí ni Ọlọ́run ló ní láti lò ó fún ògo rẹ̀. O ò lè bá ṣọ̀tẹ̀, o lè gbà lámọ̀ràn, ẹ lè jọ sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ lè jọ ṣe, ṣùgbọ́n nínú ìfẹ́ ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ máa jọ rìn lọ nítorí kí ni ògo Ọlọ́run ni kì í ṣe ní ti ènìyàn. Ó ní agbára náà, ó ní látọ̀dọ̀ ògo Ọlọ́run ni. Agbára náà, agbára náà. Lótótó, lótótó, dájú, dájú, dájú ó yẹ ká sí. Dájú ó yẹ ká sí. Ìjọ mímọ́, ìjọ mímọ́, Jésù ló yẹ ká sí. Thank you for standing. You are standing up for Christ. It is the television, and I'll continue to say it. It's what we have seen in the Àbẹ́kọ̀ wọ́n ní bàbá wa ti sọ fún wa pé àwa kò gbọdọ̀ mutí àwọn òdẹ̀mú tó bá mutí nulẹ̀ wàhálà ti ẹni ṣùgbọ́n ó sọ fún wa wípé kí ni ká má mutí ògo ni fọ́lọ́run.
Once our Father has told us not to drink, we shall not drink. And back to the sermon that we heard earlier, where Peter, the false shepherd, just as we had before our Father, when they said we shall worship in truth, and some people decided to lie, that is Ananias and the wife, we saw that they were overcome with them. What our Father is saying is that you are going to walk with the shepherd. Walk with him in love, walk with him in truth. You can advise him, you can talk to him. but never at any point antagonize or go against or plot against him. Because the Lord has clothed him with the clothes of many colors. The Lord has given him that authority. And it's not that he is cursing. It's not that he's going to put a curse on anyone, but he is with the authority of God. So never at any point go and plot against your shepherd. Walk with him in love and walk with him in truth.
Olùṣọ́àgùntàn ló kígbe pé agbára náà ni òdodo sí ní. Ẹ wọ́ ẹgbẹ́ ká lọ sí kí ni. Kí ló wá dé tó jẹ́ pé tó pẹ̀ kókó wá ló wá ro kú sí.
Why is it that someone that has called you to come, let us worship, you are now having evil thoughts to that person, thoughts of death?
Ṣùgbọ́n Olúwa ní agbára kan tí èṣù kò ní.
The Lord has certain powers which the devil does not
Wípé
possess.
bí ẹnikẹ́ni nínú àwọn tó gbàgbé pé ó máa dúró tì mí, èmi kì ó dojú tì.
The Lord has the power that anyone that stands by him, he will never put such a person to shame.
Sáwọn pé ó nà wá gidigidi, ṣùgbọ́n kò tó wọlé.
He has chosen us some, but he has not given us over to death.
Ó tún sọ pé bí iná bí oyin àbí bí iná ẹ̀fù abẹ́mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kí ló ṣe fún wa kí ló ṣe fún wa.
What has the devil not thrown at us?
Ìyẹn ni wọ́n á fẹ́ fi jẹ́ ìlú dúró ní wípé ìrẹ́ tó bá jẹ́ ìjọ ló mọ tẹ́lú bá lè tẹ̀ wípé láti sọ fún yàn pé ìjọ ló máa wáyé mọ́ òsì ìjọ ló wọ̀.
That is why we have the confidence to tell you that it is celestial.
Tí o bá lè dúró báyìí pé lótìtọ́ ìjọ mímọ́ ti Kristi ni ó gbé ayé mọ́ kò tí mọ̀ tó wà.
If you are Celestian and you cannot see with confidence that it's this church that will cleanse the world, then you do not know where you are. You don't
Joseph
know.
omi tó wà Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú rẹ̀ nígbà tí a bí wọn pápá pa ọ̀rọ̀ áńgẹ́lì kan sí wọn dàrúbẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ wa ni abẹ́jú gbàgbé ni kí la fẹ́ pa irọ́ o ọ̀nà tá lè fi ṣe wà ẹjẹ́ àjù sínú ayé fẹ́ràn òkùnkùn ìmọ́lẹ̀ lọ wọ́n ti kọ́ tàbí tó bá wọn yẹ̀wò lẹ́yìn ló fẹ́ ó dàbí ẹ̀ tàbí àwọn bá jù sínú wò àfúrẹ̀ ló máa abẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀nà ẹjẹ́ ká jù sínú wò wẹ́rẹ́ àwọn ẹ̀gbẹ́ náà ti gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ àjù sínú wò a sì yọ fún un. àtúnṣe ọ̀dà yóò ẹgbẹ́ mẹ́ta títà ló máa dá wọ́n tà lẹ́rú olúwa ò ní jẹ́ ká jẹ́ akótilétà. ìwọ́n tó bá ń fọwọ́ sí dúwé celestial ó tí wọ́n tó wà. má ṣe tí kò bá ti yé ọ béèrè lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run inú ìjọ wo ni mo wà. ṣùgbọ́n tó bá wà pé tó bá ń fọwọ́ sí dúwé I'm sorry for you.
The brothers of Joseph thought they had a plan and they were going to kill him. But the Lord also has his own plan. And he sent his angel through Reuben to go and convince them that they should not kill the child, that, oh, he's our own blood. Let us put him in the pit. And if we put him in the pit, of course, he's going to die by himself, we will shed no blood. But they took him out of the pit. And they decided that, oh, we have another better idea, let us sell it. And through that we can make money. The world loves darkness more than light. And they thought this was a better idea. And please, our Father is reminding us at this point in time, if you are celestial, and you do not know where you are, you do not know that this church will cleanse the world, you are still describing and pointing to the celestial church of Christ with your left hand. Desist from doing this. You do tell God to show you what kind of church you are worshiping in.
Nítorí Kristi sọ pé ó rí ìdààmú, ó sì rí ìpọ́njú. Joseph tiẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kí ló sọ fún kí ló sọ fún gbẹ́kẹ̀lé Olúwa olùgbàlà ẹ má ṣe gbàgbé àkọlé wa ìgbàlà wà lọ́wọ́ kí Kristi.
Jesus said, in this world you will have trials and tribulations. Joseph had his trials and his tribulations. Just as the song we have just rendered goes, in all situations, at all times, let your heart be seeking the Lord. Let your heart reside in the Lord. That way you overcome all tribulations, because as the theme of today's sermon is, salvation is in Christ.
Nítorí náà ni ẹgbọ́n ẹ̀ka ṣùgbọ́n láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Joseph báyìí òun ní bí ayé fẹ́ bí ayé kọ̀ ní ìlú àti ní gbogbo ìlú tó yàtọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ aláwọ̀ dúdú orúkọ rẹ̀ yóò gbòòrò. Yóò wí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè nítorí tí ọ̀rọ̀ wa ní kí n ṣe pé nìkan ló sọ ẹnì kọ́kọ́ ló sọ Olúwa ló sọ nítorí náà ó lẹ̀ láti ṣẹni nínú làálàá nígbàdúró adúpọ̀lọpọ̀ Joseph ó kọ̀ ó ní ojú oníṣàgbé ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀gá mi ó ní ọ̀gá mi tó fẹ́ràn mi tó fi gbogbo ilé yìí fún mi ìwọ ni obìnrin kó wá bá mi kí ló fẹ́ kó bá mi yìí irú ìdáwó ló fẹ́ kó bá mi yìí nítorí tó tún kọ̀ obìnrin tí lọ sọ fún ọkọ rẹ̀ pé lóòótọ́ ló fẹ́ bá mi yìí pọ̀ ohun tó ṣe láyà Sátánì ó kú lọ́mọ ẹ̀kọ́ òní òde bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n sọ wípé ẹnikẹ́ni tó máa ń ní ìfọyàdà pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run yóò kúlẹ̀ sẹ́kù tí a jọ. Ohun tó fẹ́ kó ṣe yẹn ó láti wá ṣe é ni nítorí pẹ̀lú gbogbo làálà tí Joseph ní ọjọba ní Egypt. Àwọn arákùnrin rẹ̀ wọ́n wá ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ oúnjẹ lọ́wọ́. Kò wí fún ọ lónìí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀tá rẹ̀ nídìí bàbá nídìí ìyá torí pé tẹ̀lé wọ́n lẹ́rù pẹ̀lẹ́. Wọ́n wọ́n máa jẹ lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ ni nítorí kí ni wọ́n ṣèlérí ohun tí wọn kò lè ṣe Ọlọ́run yóò tù wọ́n lọ.
Elephant Castle Parish is the Joseph of today. Anything outside of Nigeria, the Lord has decreed that the name of Elephant Castle will always be a glorious one. It's not man-made, it's not hearsay, it's what the Lord God himself has said. Just as Joseph went through trials and tribulations, whereupon he was lied against, even Potiphar, his wife, lied against him, yet the Lord was with him even when he was thrown into prison. And all those that plotted against him eventually came to bow down as the promise and the covenant of God with Joseph was. They came to beg of food from him. Our Father is saying this prayer today, that those that have plotted against you, either from the father's side or the mother's side, those that are planning evil against you, your enemies, will come eventually to bow at the soles of your feet. They will come to beg food of you because the Lord is with you. They are planning that you are going to bury your child, but before their very eyes, you see the glory of your children. Because the Lord said it. I beg of thee. Elephant and Castle, continue to bear your name. You are all children of God.
Lóòótọ́, a lè ní gbọ́mi sómi òtó, ṣùgbọ́n sọ fún pé má jẹ́ kí òrùn kó jẹ́ kí ni.
Though we might have our misunderstandings from time to time, but the Bible lets us know that do not let the sun set on your grievances. He says, let us come together and let us discuss the matter. Whatever it might be, whatever misunderstanding might be between us, we always come together, we discuss it, and everybody goes back home smiling. This is the nature and the foundation of Elephant and Castle Parish.
Kí Sátánì má bàa rà wọlé. Ó ní ẹ̀dìdé ẹ̀mọ òdìdí jẹ́ńtọ́lẹ́ta. Kíkiri Sátánì kó má bàa wọlé. Ó bẹ̀yìn ẹ má ti gbà láyé. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́ kórè o. My prayer pẹ̀lú wà lóyún, àwọn kórè wọn.
My prayer for Elephant and Castle parishes is that the Lord that has been Lord over this parish will continue to be our God and our Lord.
Lórí rẹ̀ láti mú arábìnrin kan jáde nínú ẹwà rẹ̀ nítorí ẹjẹ́ kìí sọ̀tọ̀ fẹ́ mọ̀ fún.
Let me tell you a story that you do not know.
Nígbà tí Elephant and Castle dé Nàìjíríà.
When Elephant and Castle got to Nigeria,
wọ́n sọ fún wa pé báyìí kẹfà tún jẹ́ Elephant Nàìjíríà jẹ́ Elephant Nàìjíríà.
that we cannot bear the name Elephant and Castle in
àwọn
Nigeria.
ìgbéra máa ṣe o ẹ jẹ́ ká máa pè ní Christ Castle jẹ́ ká jẹ́ Elephant.
If you do not want Elephant,
ohun tí ń sọ̀bọ̀ ni pé Ọlọ́run nínú òdodo rẹ̀ kó ti kó wa jọ pọ̀ níbi ìjáde ara wa sí. Kí ó tó fi Elephant and Castle kalẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. Bí Ọlọ́run ti wọ́ wa jáde ló ti wọ́ arábìnrin jáde. Arábìnrin Mother Celestial of that peace of God.
as the Lord was taking us one by one from our corners where we were in Nigeria to come together as Elephant and Castle Parish, so also was the Lord bringing out Mother Celestial Olabisi Thomas to be part of that congregation.
Arábìnrin náà bí ẹni Ọlọ́run, ọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀rú ìjọ náà, ó lẹ́wọ̀ Ọlọ́run nínú rẹ̀. Ó sì wí pé èló sin Ọlọ́run Christ Castle.
She came into that parish back then, saw the glory of God in the parish, and decided that I will be a part of this parish.
Mo sọ fún yín nítorí tí bá sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹni mò ń pọ́n irun ni ó jẹ́ kan nínú ẹni tí a lè fi ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ ṣeré.
If I say this, you might say I'm just exaggerating, but he is one of those people in the parish that we cannot just cast aside.
Kì í bá yín jà, kì í máa ń fa ìmọ̀ra ni.
She does not fight in the parish, she pulls people together.
Olùkọ́ni ni.
She's a teacher.
Kì í fojú dá nǹkan tó dáa. Tí wọ́n ṣe kó tó dáa báyìí, á tẹ̀sán ìpè tó kéde yóò.
She does not like to behold something that is not quite correct. If you do something wrong before her, she will let you know immediately.
Bí a ti mọ̀ nìyẹn, ó sì ń sin Ọlọ́run tọkàntọkàn.
And she worships our God wholeheartedly.
Nítorí náà, ẹnu kò yà mí nígbà tó wípé ẹwọ́ ẹgbẹ́ ká lọ sí Olúwa ká lọ sọ fún Olúwa wípé mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ nítorí tàbí tó fi hàn sí mi àti ilé mi.
Therefore, I was not surprised when she said, "Come, let us go before the Lord to thank God for the mercy which she has received from God for herself and her household."
Ọlọ́run ló ti ń bá bọ̀ láti gbá nì tí kò jẹ́ kó lẹ́kọ́ tó ń fi ọ̀nà àbáyọ fún ní gbogbo ọ̀nà. Ọlọ́run náà wá ránṣẹ́ sí lónìí gba Isaiah 43 àwọn ìdẹ́gbọ́ kà fúnra wọn nítorí gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ọbẹ̀ sí wọn ni. Nítorí bá tí Ọlọ́run bá bá ọ sọ̀rọ̀ o láti gbọ́ ìkara rẹ̀.
The Lord that has been with her up until this time, that has not let her go astray, the same Lord is speaking to her this morning through the book of Prophet Isaiah chapter 43. She's going to read this herself.
Ẹ má sáré o. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsinsìnyí tí wọ́n bá 60, Olúwa bá sọ̀rọ̀ wípé ẹni tó dá ọ. Ilé Thomas, Ọlábísí Thomas, àti Ọlọ́run tó mọ̀ ọ́ nígbà tó dá ọ. Má bẹ̀rù. Mo ti ògbó ìbọn lókè ọ̀run. Òun Ọlọ́run ti rà ọ́ padà fún ọdún ìwà ẹ̀fọ́ àti agbára ayé. Yes. Mo ti pè ọ́ lórúkọ rẹ. Mo ti fi aṣọ ọlọ́rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ̀ ọ́. Ẹ̀rí mọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú rẹ. Tẹ̀mí ní ìwọ. Yes. Nígbà tí o bá ń la omi kọjá. Hallelujah. Yes. Àtìlẹ́yìn odò. Wọ́n ò lè wọ ọmọdé ní wọ́n ti kọjá wọn. Ní bá rìn nínú iná, àmì yóò jọ. Ọwọ́ iná kì í jọ.
Ẹni mímọ́ Ísírẹ́lì olùràpadà rẹ̀.
Yes.
Mo fi Íjíbítì ṣe ìràpadà. Mo sì fi Étópíà àti Sébà fún mi. Níwọ̀n bí ìwọ ṣe.
Ìyẹn ló pé ó fi ìmọ̀ àwọn ọ̀tá rẹ̀ fún gbogbo ìmọ̀ àwọn ọ̀tá rẹ̀ pátápátá. Gbogbo bó ṣe lépa rẹ̀ títí nígbà tó wọ Christ ká ṣùgbọ́n ní àwọn ibi tó wọ̀ yìí. Àwọn olùfẹ́ wọ bẹ̀. Ògbó ìwé olùkọ́.
Níwọ̀n bí ìwọ ṣe ń ṣe iyebíye ní ojú.
Bí o ti ń ṣe iyebíye ní ojú mi tí ìwé dá mi lọ́rùn tí ò ń rìn ní mímọ́ tó ń ṣe mímọ́.
Tí ìwọ ṣe ọlá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Èmi sì ń bẹ pẹ̀lú rẹ̀.
Èmi ń bẹ pẹ̀lú rẹ̀.
Nítorí náà.
Wọ́n tún tẹ̀lé kẹta.
Èmi fi ènìyàn rọ́pò rẹ̀.
Èmi fi ènìyàn rọ́pò rẹ̀.
Àti ènìyàn nípò ẹ̀mí rẹ̀.
Olùkọ́ olùkọ́.
Nítorí ẹ̀mí mi wà pẹ̀lú rẹ̀.
Ẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú rẹ̀.
Èmi ò mú irú ọmọ rẹ̀. Àti láti ìlà oòrùn wá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Èmi ò sì
Ẹ̀rí wọn. Ẹ̀dá. Gébẹ̀dà. Àti sísá Mọ́ẹ́rìkẹ́. Ẹ̀rí wọn ni. Wọ́n á dàrú láti ṣe kí ni? Ọwọ́ á ṣe ayọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjà àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ náà ń dá sí. Olùkọ́ náà ló kọ́. Láti gbogbo ẹ̀rọ wọn ló ti kó wọn jáde pé ẹ̀wọ́ àbáyọ̀ ẹni lánàá. ètò tí ẹ̀mí wò fẹ́. Yes.
Èyí ò wí fún àríwá pé.
Wọ́n ò wí fún àríwá pé jọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Má ṣe dá dúró. Àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ̀ má ṣe dá dúró. Àwọn bí ìyá ṣe bí ọba wọn lè dá wọn dúró lẹ́nu. Mo ti má ṣe dá dúró. Ẹ má ṣe dá dúró. Yes. Mú àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ tó kú iná bí wọ́n mú ọmọ. Yes. Láti òkèèrè kọ́ wọ́n bọ̀. Yes. Ògo ni fọlọ́.
Yóò dá fún òkè, yóò dá fún ògo. Ìmọ̀ tí mọ̀. Mo ti mọ̀.
Ẹ bá mi ní English ká. Ẹ ṣe mà. Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní pé ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ẹ̀dẹ́ ni.
The words of God are very delicate indeed.
Bí ẹnikẹ́ni bá fẹ́yà Ọlọ́run, Ọlọ́run yóò fẹ́ràn rẹ̀.
If you fear the Lord will love you.
Nǹkan tí mo ṣe ń sọ nínú ìjọba ni pé ẹ wọ́n sí Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú ẹ̀rù àti ìmọ̀gbọ́ ṣe ń sin Ọlọ́run nínú ìjọba mọ́.
That's why I keep saying.
Òótọ́ ni mo sọ fún wa, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ akọ̀rọ̀ pé tábà ti dé bí ìgbé àpò social no. Nígbàkígbà tó bá ti wọnú dé tẹ́ḿpìlì Ọlọ́run, ìrẹ́ àtọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá rẹ̀ nìkan ni. Ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ wà pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run. Nígbà náà lọ́lọ́run lè gbọ́. Nígbà náà ló lè rí nígbà lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ti jẹ́ ẹwà celestial káàkiri ayé. Nígbà tí church bá wà lọ́wọ́ máa mú ice cream ta. Lọ́wọ́ máa mú kókì ta. Àwọn máa ṣe meeting ta. Church dẹ́ lọ. Ìyẹn kò jẹ́ kí ayé kà wá sí. Nítorí àwọn tí wọ́n bí Ọlọ́run tẹ́ bá inú wọn bó ṣe káyọ̀ Ọlọ́run pàápàá ẹ̀rù àbáyé.
Our Father keeps emphasizing that we need to know how to worship the Lord. He says it's a pity many of us are yet to know how to worship God. Many of us come into the temple of God and we believe it's a social gathering. Not knowing that the moment you come into the temple of God, it's you and God one-on-one. But at the point in time where the service is going on, that's where you have many people buying ice cream outside. That's where you have meetings going on outside. And people of the world that even in their own side of worship, they reverence their God more than we do. And they begin to wonder that what kind of worship are we having in this parish or in this church worldwide. And that's why the Lord does not even respect our worship, because we are yet to worship the Lord with reverence. The words of God will not go unfulfilled.
Mrs. Thomas soon. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà pẹ̀pẹ̀ wá. Wípé ìwọ àti ilé rẹ̀ tó kù bí kò ṣe.
The words of God.
Kí ẹ lè máa ro iṣẹ́ Olúwa. Irúgbìn yóò bá dàgbà. Àtọ́gbọ́ ìjọba jẹ́ ó ṣe déédéé rẹ̀. Nítorí Olúwa ló wí ẹni tó pọ̀ lágbóló.
The words of God that have sustained our Mother Celestial Thomas up until this time will never depart from you. Because you have come before the Lord to give glory unto Him, the Lord will continue to give glory unto you, you and your entire household.
Inú ayọ̀ ni Ọlọ́run, ìbànújẹ́ kò sí inú rẹ̀, arábìnrin ẹni Ọlọ́run, ó ní ohun gbogbo, ó sì gba Ọlọ́run gbọ́. Ẹnìkan sọ nígbà tó ń sọ pé ìjọba ìlú lágbègbè lẹ́nu. Kò dá wà. Nítorí kí ni Ọlọ́run tó mú ọkọ wọn lọ ó ń bẹ pẹ̀lú wọn. Nítorí tó sọ fún yín pé a ó fi ilé bàbá sílẹ̀ oníkùnkùn nígbà tiẹ̀. Nígbà tásìkò wá ti tó, ó ṣe ṣe ní láàánú pé a ò mọ́kọ àti àwùlọ́rùn. Ó ṣe ní láàánú pọ̀. Ìbáṣepẹ̀ emblem kò bá ti wà báyìí. I am Mrs. I am Mr. Ṣùgbọ́n sọ pé kí ni? Ó ní pàtúwẹ̀ bá ti dé bá sọ pé kí ni? Ó bọ̀ ọ́lẹ̀. Sẹ̀lẹ̀ ò wá sínú òkùnkùn. Ó ní gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe kí ni? Àjọwẹ̀ àti kí ni? Àwọn ṣe kí ni? Then what's our problem? Kí ló ń mú ọ láìsí Ọlọ́run sọ́kọ̀ rẹ ni? Má jò ó di ọ lọ́wọ́ ìgbàlá. Ìgbàlá ọkọ kò bá yára. Bàbá mi bàbá ìjàkẹ́ máa ń sọ bó ní ké tí ọkọ rẹ bá mutí ọ̀dọ̀ máa mutí. Àbí tọkọ rẹ bá jáde ó máa jáde. Ó máa tẹ̀lé wọ́n bí náà ni. Ó ti o arákùnrin ibi tó ń lọ yẹ ọ̀nà mi ò gbà bẹ̀. Oníkàlùkọ́ ṣe kí ni? Á dúró níwájú Ọlọ́run. Àwọn ìwé báyìí ni mo jẹ́wọ́ rẹ sí Ọlọ́run. Olúwa kó kàwá yẹn lọ́gbẹ́.
During the course of the prayer, it was mentioned that, or referred to that maybe her mother was alone. But her father is reminding her that she's not alone, because the person that took away the husband is with her. It's just a pity that in heaven we do not have Mr. and Mrs. That when you get there, you are Mr. This or Mr. That. But he wants us to know, as the song in Celestial says, that we all shall stand individually before the Lord. So if your husband or your wife is the one that is going to deter you from the kingdom of God, make sure that you let him or her know that my way does not go that way. Because if your wife or your husband is stealing, if your wife or your husband is drinking, you are not going to go the same way. So make sure that you work out your salvation, because we shall all stand before the Lord, not as Mr. or Mrs. X or Y.
Nítorí arábìnrin náà ti fẹ́ràn ọkọ rẹ̀ púpọ̀, wọ́n ṣe wípé ẹgbẹ́ tájú òṣèlú kan. Nítorí kí ni kó tó di pé amújáde kúrò, ọ̀kan ni wọ́n nínú ìjọ mímọ́, wọ́n ń sin Ọlọ́run kan tí kò pé méjì, wọ́n sì ń fi Ọlọ́run yan dùn wípé Ọlọ́run ni Ọlọ́run fún wọn. Jẹ́ níbi tó wà, tálà tí Ọlọ́run kó bá fi ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká tó ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀.
Shall we observe a minute silence for the departed?